This is my bedroom in its current state. My plan is to lift the mirrors on the night tables and to add a canopy over the bed. I needed something to support the mirrors up against the wall, and I couldn't find any affordable brackets, but I found these little hook mirrors at Five Below, and I purchased two and winged it, hoping that they would support the mirror, and they did the job. I am terrible at hanging things straight, so I went online and found this paper towel trick to make sure that you're marking the right spots for your little hooks. So I flipped my little mirrors upside down, put a paper towel over it, marked where the hooks are with a pin, then taped it to the wall where I wanted it. Put the nails in the marks and voila! There you go, nice and straight. This is what they looked like once I had them up. Now, the little hook bottoms held the mirror just like I thought it would, but I was still a little nervous about it falling forward, so for now I put two little thumbtacks as support up along the tops. I hate the way it looks, but I'm looking for some metal scrolling to finish off the top and make it look pretty. Next on my plan was to finish off the edges of this little vanity table that I spray painted, not very well as you can see, and totally forgot the edging. Because only just a small bit was not painted, I went ahead and picked up these little sponge applicators at Dollar Tree and some black acrylic paint, and I am just going to squeeze some in this little plastic bowl and dabble on the paint just to make it look complete. I love that this paint is water-based because I'm very messy and end up covered in it, but a little goes a long way, so just squeeze it in here and use this as your paint bucket. Next is my canopy, and I'm going to DIY one because I couldn't find one that I liked. All you need are some sheer curtains, a curtain rod, and two little eye hooks. Make sure the rod is centered right down the center of your bed. Screw in the little hooks, attach the rod, and you're ready. Now you can sew both panels together, or you can use heat bond strip, which I chose to do because you want to make one uniform hole for the rod. Now I chose to use the heat bonding strip just because it's easier for me. All you do is line it up to the edge. You can snap it off in segments. That way you don't have this long giant trailing piece. And then you put your other shear right on top. Line it up nice and even. And you're going to press it for 10 to 15 seconds. If your iron is like mine, it's going to beep after 10 seconds of being flat, so that worked out really well. But you just work one section at a time. Make sure it's bonded, but don't pull at it to see if it's bonded while it's still warm, or it will pull apart. You got to let it cool between presses so that the bond takes and you don't end up having to redo it over and over again. But this is all I did. I just went section by section by section. And as each section healed, I would fold it back and add more bonding tape. So that section is nice and sealed. and you're trying to make one uniform loop between both shears, and I could have sewn it, but I cannot make a straight line to save my life with thread, and even though it's not going to show up top, I still wanted it to be neat. So once you have one side done, you're going to start attaching the bottom edge right here, because you need to get that little loop. So it's the same process. You put down your bonding strip. Like I said, you can snap it if you want so you don't end up with a long trail. But I just lay it out. And the only hard thing about this part is flipping over the second shear, because sometimes it'll slide off of your board. Sometimes it'll mat up the little bonding strip under, but same process. 10-15 seconds over the top. Let it bond. Don't mess with it until it's nice and cool. And you just keep going down the length. Like I said, if you're a sewer or you have a sewing machine, awesome, but I chose this way. Now what you're looking for is a little hole just like this for your curtain rod. One hole, 2 panels. Now all you have to do is put it on your rod, and you can adjust the rod as you want, adjust the hooks as you want, depending on how far across the bed you want it. I'm still not sure how far across I want, so for now this is good. So here is the initial look. The mirrors are up, the canopy is on. I'm still far from finished. I definitely want to secure the mirrors with something more decorative and pretty, maybe some metal scrolling up along the edges. I want to readjust the canopy just a bit, but by this point, you guys, my back was hurting so bad I could not perch any longer on this bed. My pseudo little headboard in there is also a DIY spray painted addition that I wanted because I desperately wanted a headboard. But for now, this is good.